Hello, and welcome. I've got my E46 330xi sitting here, and in front of it, I have a very rare 6-speed manual transmission that came from another 330xi. These 6 speeds were only built from 2003-05 until 2005. So a very limited time build and option for these E46s. That being said, by my calculations, there were only ever about 1,600 to 2,500 of these ever produced here in the US. I do not know if they were produced in the European market, but they were for the US market. Thus, I have one sitting right here in front of me. This came from a donor 330xi from a 2004 of October, which, funny enough, is when I bought this beast. I got this back in October 2023, and I have been meticulously maintaining it since then. The day I got it, I immediately pulled the cooling system apart and refreshed it, along with every gasket on this vehicle, including the oil pan gasket, most notorious in every BMW that I know of. That being said, there's going to be 2 hurdles for when I go to put this manual transmission in my automatic 330xi, and that is going to be this first piece right here. This is the transmission hump to a manual 325xi. The reason that I've got said body part sitting in my hand is for the fact that these automatic ones do not come with these bump outs. These bump outs sit over the shifter linkage towards the back of the transmission. This provides enough room for all that shifter linkage to sit there. And on these automatic ones, you have none of that room. So if you ever decide to swap a manual transmission into your 330xi, you will not have enough room without this. Now, I've gone ahead and torn this out of a 325xi and taken the liberty to semi-clean it up. I will be repainting it at some point. And I will be, doing some plastic surgery and putting this in so it resembles a factory manual E46. The next issue. My shifter linkage left the chat. I was putting in the PowerFlex bushings and it decided to break. I visited a friend and he tried to help me rectify this. And yes, this is cast aluminum if you were wondering, and no, it does not weld very well. Thus, it's broken and it ain't gonna be fixed. I could have JB welded it, but I do not want this lingering in the back of my head as something that might fail. With all that said, I've got a real big box of parts here, along with a bunch of parts scattered throughout this entire garage that I will be installing into this car to finish my manual swap. That being said, I'm going to take you around the car. I'm going to tell you a little bit of its history and what I've done to it thus far. Okay, this is a stock M54 B30 motor. It is original to the car as far as I know. The entire cooling system has been done. The power steering system has been done. Every single gasket that could possibly leak on this engine has been done. The CCV system has been done. I could go on and on and on. I've done the disavow. I have done everything under the face of this earth to this engine. Now, besides the engine, we're going to talk about suspension, which has been far most my favorite thing to do on this car. I'm sitting on Bilstein B6 in the front with H&R springs. Both sides, I've got polyurethane bushings for the lower control arm bushing, which has been treating me very well. For the rear, I've got the same Bilstein and H&R spring setup going on. I've got solid subframe mounts with the subframe fix. Those are just plates that mount up to the body of the car to give you more rigidity. That being said, I have the mono ball joints on the knuckle like the M3 does, and I have left the bushings for the upper and lower control arm completely stock on the inside where they attach to the subframe. That being said, I do have the solid subframe mounts, and I did decide to go with M539 Restoration style of keeping the stock driveline bushings, and I'm very happy I did. The driveline vibration on these cars is absolutely crazy. With the solid rear subframe mounts, it is intense. The vibrations are almost too much for me. That being said, don't ask me the wheels or the tires. I know these are stock wheels, but the tires themselves are a road-controlled touring model from Les Schwab. I got them with the car, and eventually I do plan to swap them out with a nice set of BBS rims or some M3 rims if I can make that happen. But that being said, we're going to move on to the interior. I do have these refurbished sport seats. Yes, they are heated and they are electric with memory. Just know of the the air adaptability to them. I do have the all other floor mats with these, along with the most common steering wheel. I really enjoy this. This is one that I have in my other BMW X5. To boat, I redid the headliner, and yes, I left all of the handles and sun visors their original color. I do enjoy having the two-tone look, but yes, it does stick out, and yes, I may change that in the future. But all in all, this interior has been, for the most part, refreshed. I have shampooed all the carpets and taken the liberty to get rid of all of the scratchable coating, the soft touch plastic off of the entire interior plastics, because that stuff was just beyond disgusting. That being said, I don't believe I have anything else. So I will be refreshing that transmission in the next episode, and hopefully that'll be here soon enough. Thank you.